One afternoon, a man goes to visit his parents who live on the other side of town. On getting there, he was warmly received, and of course, they sat and had lunch together. On the surface, this looked like a regular visit, but deep down, there were some hidden agendas and intention in this visit. After the lunch, the dad goes up and the man joins him, and there the man shoots the dad, after which he goes down and shoots his mom. Now the question is, who is this man and why did he do this? All these and more are going to be answered in today's video. This is the story of Jean-Claude Romand, who was born on the 11th of February 1954 in France. Romand was the only child of his parents, and he grew up in a very strict home, a home where being second was an offense, and one would say that this actually shaped him. His dad was a very strict man, a disciplined man, and he was a forestry manager, while his mom suffered severely from complicated health issues, and this put Roman under a lot of pressure because he didn't want to fail his dad, and he didn't want to bring shame to his mom, and by extension worsening her health issues. And so this made him to be the perfect child, who was always obedient and who never tried to get on his parents' toes. While choosing a career path, Roman decided that he was not going to pursue forestry like his father. Instead, he was going to study medicine. And so in 1971, he enrolled to study medicine in the University of Lyon. During his active year in medical school, Roman's academic life was going well. He was doing well in school, getting A's, and he was also in a very good relationship until the worst thing happened. His girlfriend as of that time, by name Florence, who would go on to become his wife, broke up with him. And this was devastating for Roman. In fact, it was so devastating that he failed his second year exam in medical school, which would of course cause him to drop out. After failing the exam, he could have just come back the next year to write it, but he didn't do that because of the fact that he wanted to keep impressing his parents and he didn't want to disappoint them. He went and told them that he passed the exam, and so a lie was born. And to keep this lie going, Roman started posing as a student. He would attend classes, he would take lessons, read textbooks that were not his own textbooks, just to keep the lie going. Through this lie, he was able to win over Florence, who was his ex-girlfriend and who would later become his wife later in the story. He kept this lie going until he finished school, and on the day of graduation, as usual, everybody was expecting to see his name on the list of graduates, but Roman's name was nowhere to be found. When questioned, he simply told them that it is an administrative glitch or something. So nobody took notice of it and nobody did anything because, of course, it's Roman. He has been in school and he has been portraying himself as a student, and that was how Roman eventually graduated from school. Meanwhile, did he really graduate? It was one thing for Roman to carry this lie through school, but the question on everyone's mind is, how is he going to carry it after school? Well, you see, Roman is the kind of guy that is ready to carry this lie to his grave. Because after school, everybody was expecting Roman to practice as a local doctor in France. But Roman was not ready to do that because he knew that he was never a doctor to begin with. So he comes up with a lie and says that he just got a very big job to work at the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. And so he started portraying himself as an employee of the World Health Organization. Every morning, he would kiss his wife goodbye, dress well, and leave for work. His fake work, of course. He will go and travel cross-border to Geneva, Switzerland at the World Health Organization headquarters, where he will probably park his car at the parking lot and spend his day there. He would enter the World Health Organization, he will patrol there, collect souvenirs and brochures, which of course he will take home to his wife, for his wife to see and know that he was actually working at the World Health Organization. And this lie continued. But of course, there was another problem. This kind of lie needed funding. And how was he going to do that? Maintaining the status of a researcher for the World Health Organization without a salary was a very big problem for Roman because, of course, he needed money to play the part. And so he decided that he was going to start lying to all his family members and people who trusted him. So he went to them and he started telling them that they can become part of a big investment that would have massive return of up to 18% from the World Health Organization. He collected money from his father-in-law, he collected money from his parents, and even from his mistress, who gave him 900,000 francs. Instead of investing this so-called money, he started using it to fund his lifestyle. And when investors ask for their money, he will take the money of the new investors to pay the old investors, thereby forming one big Ponzi scheme. In 1992, this fraud pyramid began to collapse. People and investors started asking for their money back. His father-in-law, who of course wanted to use part of his investment money to renovate his house, asked for his money back, and a few days later, he was seen dead in his house, and Roman was the only present witness. His mistress, who gave him 900,000 francs, asked for her money back as well, and she was not getting any positive response. A lot of investors were asking for their money, and there were doubts. That was when they looked up Roman's name at the WHO registry, and they could not find him, meaning that he was never a staff to begin with, and it was all a lie. Faced under immense pressure, Roman decided to do the unthinkable, because to him he couldn't bear the thought of knowing that everybody will see him as a fraud. So all of them have to go before they even get to see him in that light. On the night of January, Roman made a decision. He decided that he was going to kill his family. So while his wife was sleeping that beautiful morning, Roman woke up and hit the wife with a rolling pin, killing her instantly. And so he goes downstairs to and wakes his children up. After killing his wife, he goes downstairs to his children, Caroline and Anton, who were 7 and 5 as of that time. He brings them together and talks to them calmly, and they watch cartoon. What a beautiful family moment. He escorts them individually to their room where he shoots them. And after doing this, he leaves the house like nothing happened. On the afternoon of that same day, he went to his parents' house. He had a lovely and beautiful meal with them, and of course, they were excited to meet their son who lives 50 miles away. After exchanging conversations and having a beautiful meal, his dad goes upstairs and Roman joins him, and here he kills his dad. He comes downstairs, sees his mom, and shoots the mom in the chest. And he also kills the dog. After killing them, he changes into a nice clothes and leaves the house to go pick up his mistress. In the evening, he goes to pick up his mistress, who he plans to take out to dinner. And of course, it was a very beautiful ride. All of a sudden, he goes to a deserted place and tries to kill her. Of course, fights vigorously for her life. And eventually, for some minutes, Roman had a change of heart. So he apologizes and drives her back home. After dropping his mistress at home, he goes back home to his family who were already dead. He stays there, and on the 11th day of January, Roman decided that he was going to burn everything down, and he was also going to burn himself down with it. So he lights up his house on fire and takes an overdose of sleeping pill. And just like that, the house caught fire. Neighbors saw flame coming out from the house, and of course, they notified the fire department to come in immediately, which of course they intercepted. And luckily for them, Roman was fortunate to be alive. Okay, sorry about that. After the fire department rescued them, police thought that this was just an ordinary case of arson until an autopsy was carried out on Roman's wife and his children, where they noticed that his wife's head was fractured and there were bullets on the children. That was when they realized what happened. Of course, they had to start investigating on Roman. They checked and called on the WHO to check on their payroll who was Roman. And the WHO said that they do not have any record of this man. Then they conferred to the University of Lyon, where Roman was said to have studied. And records showed that Roman studied there for only his first year in medical school, that he was never a student. Instead, he dropped out. There, police could catch on to what was happening. And so Roman was in coma. Now, after waking up from coma, he saw police. When faced with all the medical evidence, the autopsy report and everything, he had no option than to confess and admit his crime. On July 6, 1996, Roman was eventually sentenced to life imprisonment. And that was the story. Now, what can we learn from this story? Parents, it's not good to put your children under a lot of pressure at times. This whole thing came about because Roman's parents were always putting him under pressure, pressure to be perfect. You have to be good, you have to be this, you have to be that. And at the end of the day, it can make somebody, it can actually make a child go ballistic. And that was Roman's story. Because maybe if he was never put under a lot of pressure, he would have actually attempted to retake that second year by a medical exam. And probably he would have been a doctor, even though not working at the WHO, but working at a better place. So sometimes it is best to make your children understand that it is okay to fail, and it is okay for you to say that you have failed and for you to admit that you have failed. You don't always have to be perfect. And that is it for today. Please subscribe.